Hello everyone, welcome to CNA, the daily newspaper analysis. Today we have got the following topics to discuss. So let's start. The first topic says about the crime against women. So when I say about that the crime against women is directly being registered or any such type of crimes is registered under the National Commission for, excuse me, we can see about that this NCRB, that is the National Crime Records Bureau, is directly monitoring the level of crime that is against any individuals, be it against women, be it any form of crime that takes place in the respective country. So we could see that NCRB directly goes forward with the recording of the number of cases that we can see today it is happening throughout the country of India. So recently, the crime against women rise by around 15.3% in 2021 from the previous year of 2020. And according to this, we can see that the rate of crime has increased from 56.5 in 2020 to 64.5 in 2021. That means majority of the crime fall under cruelty by husband or his relatives, and the highest rate of crime against women in 2021 was registered in Assam, that amounts to 168.3. So you can even see over here about the cases that is getting registered in Assam. So therefore, Assam directly goes upon with various number of cases associated with the respective crime happening against women. So if I see about the key points associated with this respective complaints, we can see that NCRB or such number of complaints is going supposedly the first thing that is going is the against the right to life with dignity. Okay, then domestic violence cases come, then harassment of married women or dowry harassment will come, then outraging the modesty of women will come, or rapes and attempts to the rape will come, then lastly the cyber crimes will come. So though we could see that in some of the other states such as Uttar Pradesh directly tops in terms of actual number of cases registered in 2021, and the rate of total crime against women is lesser at 50.5. Okay, but Assam, we could see, is at a much higher position as compared to such number of states. So we could see that the UN has got a respective definition about the women and its respective violence. So UN defines directly that any act of gender-based violence that results in or is likely to result in physical, sexual, or mental harm or suffering to women include events the threat of such acts, coercion, or arbitrary deprivation of liberty also, whether occurring in public or in private, is directly referred to as a violence against women. And this violence against women is a social, economical, developmental, legal, educational, human right, and health issue. Health may be both physical as well as mental issue. Okay, and also since the outbreak of the COVID-19, we can see that emerging data and reports from those on the front lines have shown that all types of violence against women and girls, particularly domestic violence, has intensified during this period of lockdown. So यहाँ पे reasons क्या होता है? There are various reasons associated. The first reasons being the gender disparity, second reason being the non-retaliation and absence of laws. Okay, supposedly the third reason may be the societal attitude, stigma, and conditioning also made women vulnerable to domestic violence, and these are the main factors for underreporting of such number of cases. And what is the respective impact on women? So the adverse psychological, sexual, and reproductive health consequences of violence against women and girls affect women at all stages in our life. For example, if I say about that early set educational disadvantages not only represent the primary obstacle to universal schooling and right to education for girls, but it also downs the line, they are also to blame for restricting access to higher education and even translate into limited opportunities for women in the labor or various number of service market. So therefore, whereas there are various number of global initiatives taken by the EU, European Union, and the United Nations, supposedly the Spotlight Initiative, which directly focus on eliminating all forms of violence against women and girls. We directly go for the International Day for Elimination of Violence Against Women, that is on November 25. Okay. Also, UN Women in the United States entity dedicated to gender equality and the empowerment of women are some of the other things. Today, though we have got constitutional safeguards under Article 14, under Article 15.1, under Article 15.3, which makes special provisions to be made by the state in favor of women. Also, we have got fundamental duties associated under Article 51A, which directly ensures the practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Also, we have got legislative frameworks like Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005, Dowry Prohibition Act 1961, Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace 2013, Protection of Children under Sexual Offense, POCSO 2012. So though we have got such one number of initiatives, still we could see that violence against women contributes to be an obstacle to achieving equality, development, peace, as well as the fulfillment of women and girls' human rights. And because of all such number of activities, though we have also one another promise. Okay, I am mentioning over here about SDG, that is a Sustainable Development Goal, that is to leave no one behind, and which cannot be fulfilled without putting an end to violence against women and girls. So therefore, all the stakeholders directly need to get their act together, including even the lawmakers, police forces, forensic department, prosecutor, judiciary, medical, health department, NGOs, rehabilitation centers, everyone should directly come together so that we could directly eliminate this problem of crime against women. Okay, so this was all about the discussion about the crime against women. Okay, you can see some number of states directly going in top. You can see even Nagaland has the lowest number of crimes against women. So there is more gender parity at this particular area. Okay, so these are the things associated with this respective topic. Coming to the daily wages suicide. This is a small issue associated with the suicides that we can see in the current in the country, because we can see that suicides directly rose from around 10% in 2019 to around like to an all-time high of around 1 lakh, not even 1 lakh 53,052 at that point of time. So it accounted for around more number of suicides at this point of time. So abhi kya hai? It rose from that 2019 till, if I consider about 2021, it rose from around 10% to around 24.6%. That is, the number of suicides directly increased at a faster rate at this age. Okay, so the share of daily wage earners among those who died by suicide has doubled between the period of 2014 and till 2021. Okay, or followed by kya hai? Housewives, self-employed persons, okay, farmers or cultivators, and some of the retired persons. So ये होता है. So the professional or salaried persons group registered an increase in the suicide rate. So if I see about the causes of such number of suicides, we could see that poverty, unemployment, okay, drug abuse, ये सब भी होता है. लेकिन if I say about the daily wage suicides, so these suicides are directly rising in this respective area after the post-COVID pandemic. Okay, and therefore there is a rise which directly laid up, okay, which directly laid the more number of data directly associated with the suicide case. तो ये रिकॉर्ड कौन करता है? एनसीआरबी, जैसे मैंने बोला था, नेशनल क्राइम रिकॉर्ड ब्यूरो. तो इसका हेडक्वार्टर कहाँ पर? दिल्ली में है. ठीक है, ये डायरेक्टली सेटअप किया गया था 1986 में अंडर द मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ होम अफेयर्स. ओके, एंड ये क्या फंक्शन करता है? इट फंक्शंस एज अ रिपोजिटरी ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन ऑन क्राइम एंड क्रिमिनल्स so as to assist the investigation in linking crime to the perpetrators. Okay, so ये respective thing है associated with the daily wages suicide. Coming to the next, road accident. तो road accident में क्या है? We see that today in our country there is more and more number of road accidents. Okay, and the rate accidents by road is directly on rise up till 17%. Okay, it was almost increased by 17% in 2021 compared to 2022, which indicates that there is an increase in the rate of deaths per 1,000 vehicles in India. In 2021, 1.55 lakh people died in accidents on Indian roads as compared to 1.33 lakhs. And in 2021, total accidents reported to itna from 3.45. So two-wheelers accounted for more deaths, buses 3.1, death speeding caused 87,000. Okay, तो यहाँ पे बहुत सारा हम लोग का categories दिया गया है through which we can directly analyze the number of deaths that has been reported through the roads. Okay, तो यहाँ पे जो major causes of these accidents, even in the highways, that is the national highways, that is why I'm telling about the road accidents. I can directly say about the vehicle design, about the road engineering, about speeding, drunken driving, consumption of alcohol and drugs, driving on the wrong side, jumping the red light, use of mobile phones are some of the causes responsible for such number of road accidents. So यहाँ पे today we could see if the impact of the road accidents. तो यहाँ पे impact भी बहुत सारा होता है. We have got economical impacts also, because India's socio-economic cost of road traffic accidents for a year of 2019 was around $15.71 billion. Okay, which amounts to around 0.55 to 1.3% of the GDP. तो हम लोग 1.3% जितना हमें हम लोग कभी कभी अपना इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर्स पे नहीं डालते, जितना कभी कभी हम लोग डायरेक्टली अपना मेडिकल में R&D में नहीं डालते, उतना हम लोग रोड एक्सीडेंट्स में गवाते हैं। ठीक है। ऑल्सो दिस इज वेरी मच इकोनॉमिकल। सोशली कैसे ये होता है? इट्स डायरेक्टली अ बर्डन ऑन द हाउस होल्ड्स, बिकॉज एट द इंडिविजुअल लेवल रोड क्रॉस crash, injuries, and death impose a severe financial burden and push entire household into poverty and are already poor into debt. Because every road accident that causes depletion of nearly 7 months household income in poor families and pushes the kid of the victim in a cycle of poverty and death. Okay. So even some of the other areas such as social impact, vulnerable road users, okay, जो मरते हैं उनके साथ ही कोई और लोग जिससे जाते हैं, मान लो किसी और की गलती के लिए कोई और मारा जाए. So it is often seen about such number of large crashes, okay, which causes some of the serious injuries to the other. Okay, so therefore, we are directly seeing that in India, where this number of cases, such as the vulnerable road users, are forced to share space with other less vulnerable road users. Okay, so this is the thing. Then we have got a gender-specific impact, that is, women in the families of the victims bore a burden across poor, because around 50% of the women are directly severely affected by the decline in their household income after a crash. Also, we have got a rural-urban divide. Okay, so these are the things. But still, the whole world or the respective Indian government has also come up with all such number of initiatives. अगर मैं वर्ल्ड में देखूं तो ब्राजीलिया डिक्लेरेशन ऑन रोड सेफ्टी 2015 में आया था, वेयर इंडिया इज अ सिग्नेटरी. ऑल्सो सस्टेनेबल डेवलपमेंट गोल के 3.6 में आते हैं to half the number of global deaths and injuries from road accidents by 2030. UN Global Road Safety Week, इंटरनेशनल रोड असेसमेंट प्रोग्राम, तो ये सब है. फिर हम लोग का इंडिया में एमबीआई एक्ट 2019 में हम लोग ने क्या किया था? अमेंडमेंट किया था. Okay, which directly hikes the penalties for traffic violations, defective vehicles, juvenile drivings, and etc. Okay, so all these things. Then we have also things known as the Carriage by Road Act of 2007, then Control of National Highways, Land and Traffic Act 2000. तो ये सब हम लोग का बहुत ज्यादा हम लोग का एक सेफ्टी इश्यूज है. We have got initiatives to tackle down all such number of accidents through roads. So the safety of the roads needs to be seen as a public health issue rather than a transportation issue. Okay. Also, the design of the roads and the safety measures should also be there in the respective roads, so that the vulnerable population of the society should be given top priority while ensuring the safety regarding road accidents. Okay. Also, the road designing should be done in such a way that the most vulnerable user is safe, eventually making the better protected ones safe as well. Okay. So, ये एक respective analysis था about road accident. Next, coming to the zombie eyes. Okay. ये एक नया सा छोटा सा एक टॉपिक निकाला है. ओके, छोटा सा एक टॉपिक यहाँ पे आइसबर्ग एक दिखाया है इन ईस्टर्न ग्रीनलैंड. ओके, बिकॉज अकॉर्डिंग टू अ स्टडी, zombie ice from the massive Greenland ice sheet will eventually raise the global sea level by at least 10 inches. 10 inches कितना होता है? अगर स्केल में माप हो तो 27 सेंटीमीटर. ओके, तो इतना होता है. तो जॉम्बी, ये क्या है? जॉम्बी आइस. जॉम्बी आइस को हम लोग एक डूम्ड आइस भी बोलते हैं. यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है डूम्ड आइस. तो जॉम्बी आइस और डूम्ड आइस इज आइस that is still attached to thicker areas of ice but is no longer getting fed by larger glaciers. यहाँ पे देख सकते हो पूरा definition. Okay, and that's because we can see that the parent glaciers are getting less replenishing snow, and without replacement the doomed ice is melting from climate change and will inevitably raise the sea level. Okay, so therefore the significance of this study is that the 10 inches rise in the global sea predicted by this study is more than twice as much sea level rise as scientists has previously expected from the melting of the Greenland's ice sheet. Okay, for instance, if I see the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change in 2021 projected a range of 2 to 5 inches, that is around 6 to 13 centimeters, for likely sea level rise from Greenland ice melt by the year of 2100 by the end of this respective century. ओके, तो हम लोग सोचे थे 2 से 5 इंच बढ़ेंगे, लेकिन अभी तो 10 इंचेस के बारे में बोल रहे हैं. तो दिस इज अ ग्रेव कंसर्न ऑफ क्लाइमेट चेंज दैट वी कैन सी, where the replenishment is directly not occurring to the level that what we are directly thinking. तो ये थोड़ा एक इशू चल रहा है. तो दिस डूम्ड आइस और zombie ice should be known to you. Okay, next, government schemes for the weavers. Okay, तो यहाँ पे डायरेक्टली एक स्कीम बोला गया है about स्वनिर्भर नारी. Okay, so even we can see about that Assam Swanirbar Nari, that is even collaborated with the Atmanirbhar Assam scheme. It has been inaugurated by the government of Assam and India, where we can see it's a place where women are considered in a form of goddess. And nowadays, women are also in every field, whether it's defense, medical, teaching, technical, etc. And they are doing some of the great jobs in their respective professions. But in some backward areas, there are still some women who are economically weak and deprived. So keeping this in mind, government of Assam has launched a new scheme that is directly said about Swanirbar Nari Assam scheme. Okay, so we can see that around this category, the people who are directly economically weak and deprived, okay, around 4 lakh families will get direct benefits associated with this scheme. So the government has targeted to create more than 3.72 lakh permanent individuals and around 822 community properties under this scheme. Okay, so if I see about the main objectives or the main aim is to provide what? Employment to deprived women of the state. Okay, also to provide some of the financial help to the best performing panchayats. And many women under the scheme will be able to shift their future like many other women personalities like Soti Joymati, okay, Sati Sadhana, okay, Konoklota Borua, okay, Magri Orang, Indira Miri, and all such people. So that everyone could directly get an aspiration from such peoples. Okay, so the benefits are also because women will directly get employment under the scheme. There will be a source of income. This will boost their confidence. Okay, so slowly and slowly they can directly take part in the mainstream activities. Okay, so therefore the government of India is very much focused towards the implementation of such schemes so that more and more women should come out to the mainstream and they should directly contribute even for the economical growth of the state as well as the economical growth of the country of India. Okay, so therefore the director of handloom and textiles would directly procure to handloom women weavers, and through the Artful and Assam Government Marketing Corporation Limited, they will directly upgrade their respective skills. तो ये उसके लिए ये तो एग्जाम्पल है, बाकी सब चीज के लिए वी आर डायरेक्टली फोकसिंग मच मोर टुवर्ड्स दिस आत्मनिर्भर नारी वगैरह. ओके, चलो नेक्स्ट पे आता है लास्टली अबाउट द एडिटोरियल. ओके, तो यहाँ पे क्या बोला गया है अबाउट चैलेंजेस ऑफ सब नेशनल फिस्कल करेक्शन. तो वी कुड सी अबाउट that there is an increase in the debt GSDP ratio, okay, between the time period of 2013 to 2022. Okay, so there are various arguments for the grant of this respective freebies. So we could see that slowly and slowly today the government is directly possessing various number of challenges outside the slow GDP or GSDP earning. That is directly it is from the respective states. So today we can see that the states directly push back on the issue on the grounds of welfare provisioning and protection on the vulnerable sections of the population. So it's directly said about, and there are various number of issues associated. So if I see about some of the issues that directly says about the federal issues between the state and the central governments, today we could see that there has been a set of issues related to the GST. Okay, उसके बाद एक state level expenditure patterns होता है. Also, the conception and implementation of the central schemes are very much of well known. So we could see that जो हम लोग का mandatory, जो हम लोग का public expenditures है, supposedly about the mandatory spending, about the discretionary spending. तो mandatory spending क्या होता है? It is governed by formulas or criteria set forth, or discretionary spending governed by annual or other periodic appropriations. So all these things are there, and we have got all other issues associated with discretionary spending. So in every form of things, we could see that there is a respective challenge directly going on this number of fiscal corrections. So therefore, we could see that the fund directly raised through borrowings must be used for capital formation. And this could contribute to the real income of future generations. And there is a need for such number of fiscal corrections because we could see that by raising the additional resources at the subnational level and simultaneously ensuring expenditure prioritization, we could see that the central government must demonstrate its committed to fiscal discipline in order to ensure a cooperative federal structure which could directly help all the states to perform together and could directly make an impact to the respective GDP of the country. तो अगर GSDP ठीक रहेगा तब हम लोग का GDP भी ठीक रहेगा. That is, the gross state domestic product is a very important component if we want to directly go for the respective GSTs. Okay, so ये जितना भी issues है, we have mentioned these issues respectively. You can find in this respective slide. Okay, तो ये सब हम लोग यहाँ पे हम लोग किए हैं so that we could directly increase the market conditions and also to make the fiscal condition at a very stable position. Okay, so this all for today in the editorial analysis. We have got all these 5 questions. You will get your answers in the Telegram channel of them. Okay, so please do take a part. Okay, so that's all for today. Thank you and Jai Hind.